Hey everyone, Brian here, and welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a deep dive into, those topics you've always been curious about, but never really had the time to explore.
Right.
Today's deep dive is extra special because we're doing it for the awesome folks over at the Detox Health YouTube channel. Make sure to check them out for more great health and nutrition content. You won't regret it. And speaking of health and nutrition, I'm joined by Chelsea, a brilliant nutrition expert who's going to guide us through the surprisingly complex world of sweet potatoes.
Yeah, you heard that right. Those humble orange spuds might be more than just a Thanksgiving side dish. They're actually nutritional powerhouses hiding some pretty amazing secrets. So Chelsea, ready to blow some minds about sweet potatoes?
Absolutely. It's fascinating how much we take this common food for granted. There's a lot more to them than meets the eye.
All right, let's unpack this first things first. Can we clear up the sweet potato versus yam confusion? I feel like people use these terms interchangeably, but they're not the same thing, are they? You're right, they're often confused, but they are botanically distinct. True yams, which are native to Africa and Asia, have a drier, starchier texture compared to sweet potatoes.
So when we see yams in the supermarket, they're usually just a variety of sweet potato.
Exactly, and it's not just about the orange ones either. Sweet potatoes come in an amazing array of colors, yellow, cream, even purple, and these different colors often indicate different nutrient profiles and flavors. For instance, the orange ones, as you might guess, tend to be the sweetest, while the purple varieties pack a powerful antioxidant punch.
Purple sweet potatoes. I gotta try those. It's amazing how we tend to fixate on just one type of a vegetable. But let's get to the good stuff. Why are sweet potatoes so good for you?
Well, for starters, they're packed with essential nutrients that play a vital role in keeping your body functioning at its best. We're talking fiber, potassium, vitamins A and C. The list goes on.
Okay, so they're nutritious, but our sources mentioned some pretty impressive health benefits that go way beyond just good for you. Chelsea, let's dive into those, starting with diabetes management. What's the connection there?
Research has shown that sweet potatoes can actually play a role in improving insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for individuals with type 2 diabetes.
For those who might not be familiar with insulin sensitivity, it basically determines how effectively your body uses insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar.
Exactly. And studies have shown that extracts from white-skinned sweet potatoes led to significant improvements in insulin sensitivity among participants with type 2 diabetes. This means better blood sugar control, which is huge for managing the condition.
That's incredible. And I remember reading that sweet potatoes are also a good source of potassium, which is important for heart health. How does that work?
You're right, potassium is key for regulating blood pressure, and the American Heart Association actually recommends increasing potassium intake for heart health. Sweet potatoes are a fantastic source, so by swapping out that bag of chips for some roasted sweet potato fries, you're not just making a tastier choice, you're actively supporting your cardiovascular health.
So it's a win-win. Now, this next one really caught my eye, cancer prevention. Our sources mention that sweet potatoes are rich in beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A, a powerful antioxidant. What's the connection between antioxidants and cancer?
Antioxidants like beta-carotene help protect your cells from damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, which can contribute to various diseases, including cancer. While no single food is a magic bullet against cancer, a diet rich in antioxidants like those found in sweet potatoes can contribute to a healthier lifestyle and may play a role in reducing your overall risk, particularly for prostate and lung cancer.
So it's about building a healthy lifestyle, and sweet potatoes can definitely be part of that. What else is on this sweet potato superfood list?
Well, let's not forget about fiber. The high fiber content in sweet potatoes is fantastic for digestion, aiding regularity, and promoting a healthy gut. There's even research suggesting a link between high fiber intake and a lower risk of colorectal cancer.
Wow, so they're good for your heart, potentially helpful for cancer prevention, and they keep your digestion running smoothly. Is there anything these spuds can't do?
Don't forget eye health. Remember all that vitamin A? It's crucial for maintaining good vision. In fact, just one baked sweet potato can provide a huge chunk of your daily vitamin A needs.
Okay, I'm seriously impressed. And let's not forget about vitamin C, another immunity-boosting superstar found in sweet potatoes. Chelsea, could you remind us why vitamin C is so important?
Of course, vitamin C is essential for a healthy immune system, helping your body fight off infections. It also plays a crucial role in collagen production, which is essential for healthy skin tendons and ligaments. And there's even evidence suggesting that vitamin C might enhance iron absorption.
You know, Chelsea, with all this talk about vitamins and antioxidants, I almost forgot to mention something else that really caught my eye in the research. One of the articles talked about the anthocyanin pigments found in purple sweet potatoes, those colorful ones we talked about earlier, and how they might have a protective effect against heavy metal toxicity from food.
That's right. It's a fascinating area of research. While more studies are needed, there's growing evidence that anthocyanins acting as powerful antioxidants might help reduce the harmful effects of heavy metals like arsenic and cadmium that can sometimes accumulate in our food.
So we've got diabetes management, blood pressure regulation, potential cancer prevention, digestive support, eye health, an immunity boost, and now heavy metal protection.
Seriously, are we sure sweet potatoes aren't some kind of magical superfood?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but they certainly are packed with benefits, and we haven't even touched on their potential anti-inflammatory properties.
Oh, right, anti-inflammatory. That's a hot topic these days. What's the connection between sweet potatoes and inflammation?
Studies, particularly on purple sweet potatoes, suggest that they contain compounds that can help reduce inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation is linked to a whole host of health problems, from heart disease to obesity, so anything that can help combat inflammation is a good thing. This is all fantastic information, Chelsea, and you know what? I think our Detox Health viewers are really going to appreciate your expertise. Hey, everyone, if you're enjoying this deep dive, please hit that like button if you think Chelsea is more than just a pretty face. Okay, back to the topic at hand. We've covered what they are, what makes them unique, and why they're so good for you. But let's get practical. Chelsea, how can we incorporate sweet potatoes into our diets in a way that maximizes their benefits? What are your top tips?
Well, first off, when you're shopping for sweet potatoes, look for ones that are firm and have smooth, unblemished skin. Store them in a cool, dry place, and they'll keep for a good few weeks. As for preparation, roasting is a great way to bring out their natural sweetness. And here's a tip: don't be afraid to eat the skin. It's packed with nutrients, especially fiber.
You know, one of the articles we read had some fantastic recipe ideas, roasted sweet potato fries, anyone. I'm also a big fan of adding them to salads for a touch of sweetness and extra nutrients.
Yeah.
And they make amazing soups. But before we get carried away with all the delicious possibilities, are there any risks associated with eating sweet potatoes that we should be aware of?
There are a couple of things to keep in mind. First, sweet potatoes are relatively high in potassium. This is generally a good thing, but if you have kidney problems or taking beta blockers, which are often prescribed for heart conditions, you may need to be mindful of your potassium intake and consult with your doctor.
That's sound advice. And the other thing I remember from the research was the potential for pesticide contamination.
Right. Like many fruits and vegetables, conventionally grown sweet potatoes can sometimes contain pesticide residues. If you're concerned about this, buying organic sweet potatoes is a good option.
All right, so choose organic when possible and check with your doctor if you have any concerns about potassium intake. Duly noted. So, Chelsea, this has been an eye-opening deep dive. I think it's safe to say that sweet potatoes are far more than just a Thanksgiving side dish. Any final thoughts for this part of our deep dive before we move on?
Well, Brian, I think the key takeaway here is that sometimes the most unassuming foods can be nutritional powerhouses. We often get caught up in trendy superfoods, but there's so much value in rediscovering the simple, everyday ingredients that have been nourishing us for centuries.
I love that it's a great reminder to appreciate the power of whole foods and not get too distracted by the latest health fads. Speaking of rediscovering simple foods, you mentioned earlier that different colored sweet potatoes have different nutritional profiles. What are some of the key differences our listeners should know about?
That's a great point. While all sweet potatoes are nutritious, their color can offer clues about their specific nutrient strengths. For example, those vibrant orange sweet potatoes are your go-to for beta-carotene, which, as we discussed, your body converts into vitamin A. But if you're looking for an extra boost of antioxidants, those purple varieties are particularly rich in anthocyanins. These pigments not only give them their stunning color, but also offer potential anti-inflammatory and heavy metal protection benefits.
So mixing up the colors in your diet can be a fun way to ensure you're getting a broader spectrum of nutrients, kind of like eating a rainbow, but with sweet potatoes.
Exactly. And don't forget about the white and yellow varieties. While they might not be as visually striking, they still offer valuable nutrients and can be delicious additions to your meals.
You know, Chelsea, this deep dive has really shifted my perspective on sweet potatoes. I used to think they were just for Thanksgiving, but now I'm seeing them as versatile, nutrient-packed ingredients that can be enjoyed year-round.
I'm glad to hear that. It's one of the things I love about nutrition. There's always something new to discover, even in foods we think we know well. Speaking of discoveries, you brought up an interesting point earlier about sweet potatoes and their glycemic index. I know some people might be concerned about the sugar content, so could you explain a bit more about that?
That's a great point. I remember reading that sweet potatoes have a moderate glycemic index, meaning they don't cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels like some refined carbohydrates might. But I'd love to hear your take on this, Chelsea. Is there anything we should keep in mind about the glycemic index when it comes to sweet potatoes?
Absolutely. While sweet potatoes do contain natural sugars, they also have a good amount of fiber, which helps slow down the absorption of those sugars into your bloodstream. This means they're a relatively blood sugar friendly choice, especially when compared to things like white bread or sugary drinks.
So for folks who are watching their blood sugar, sweet potatoes can still be a healthy part of their diet.
Exactly. And here's another interesting tidbit. The way you prepare sweet potatoes can also influence their glycemic index. Boiling or steaming tends to result in a lower glycemic index compared to roasting or frying.
So if you're particularly mindful of your blood sugar levels, choosing cooking methods like boiling or steaming might be a good strategy.
Precisely, it's all about making informed choices that align with your individual health goals and needs.
You know, Chelsea, one thing that's really striking me throughout this deep dive is the emphasis on whole foods and a balanced approach to nutrition. We haven't talked about any crazy diets or restrictive eating patterns. It's refreshing.
I think that's a crucial point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to health. It's about finding what works for you, and for most people, that means focusing on a variety of nutrient-rich whole foods like sweet potatoes and enjoying them in a way that's sustainable and pleasurable.
I couldn't agree more. It's about making healthy choices that you can stick with for the long haul, not about following restrictive fads that leave you feeling deprived and miserable.
Exactly, and that's why I love highlighting foods like sweet potatoes. They're delicious, versatile, affordable, and accessible to most people. They're a great example of how eating healthy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive.
Well said, Chelsea. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about the amazing world of sweet potatoes? Any final words of wisdom?
I think the most important message is to encourage people to experiment in the kitchen and have fun with sweet potatoes. Don't be afraid to try different varieties, cooking methods, and flavor combinations. There's a whole world of culinary possibilities out there, and you might just discover your new favorite way to enjoy this nutritional powerhouse.
That's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
I'm already brainstorming new sweet potato recipes in my head. Any parting tips on choosing the right sweet potato for the right dish?
Well, if you're going for a sweeter flavor profile, the classic orange varieties are always a good bet. They're perfect for roasting, mashing, or even adding to sweet treats. For a more savory approach, the white and yellow varieties have a slightly milder flavor and work well in dishes like soups, stews, and curries. And if you're looking for that extra antioxidant punch, the purple sweet potatoes are a unique and delicious option.
So consider your taste preferences and the overall flavor profile of the dish you're making. Great advice, Chelsea. Okay, folks, I think we've officially cracked the code on sweet potatoes, from diabetes management and blood pressure regulation to potential cancer prevention and digestive support. These humble spuds are truly a force to be reckoned with in the nutrition world. And beyond all the incredible health benefits, they're just plain delicious. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive and sharing your expertise with our Detox Health viewers.
It's been a pleasure, Brian. Always happy to spread the word about the power of nutritious eating.
You know, Chelsea, as we wrap up, I keep thinking about those white potatoes that we often take for granted. Could swapping them out for sweet potatoes a couple of times a week really make a noticeable difference in someone's overall health?
It's definitely a step in the right direction. While white potatoes can be part of a balanced diet, sweet potatoes offer a broader spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, plus that extra fiber can do wonders for your digestion and blood sugar control.
So it's not about demonizing one type of potato, but rather understanding the nutritional benefits of each and making informed choices that align with your individual health goals.
Exactly. It's all about balance and variety, and hey, if it means adding more color and flavor to your plate, that's a bonus.
Speaking of color, you mentioned earlier that those colorful anthocyanins in purple sweet potatoes might offer protection against heavy metals. Can you expand on that a bit? It's a fascinating concept that many of our listeners might not be familiar with.
Absolutely. Heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, and mercury can sometimes find their way into our food supply through various environmental factors. While our bodies have natural detoxification mechanisms, these heavy metals can accumulate over time and potentially pose health risks.
And that's where those amazing anthocyanins come in.
Precisely, research suggests that these potent antioxidants might have the ability to bind to heavy metals in the digestive tract, making it harder for our bodies to absorb them. This essentially acts as a protective barrier, helping to reduce the potential harm from heavy metal exposure.
So in a way, those colorful pigments are like tiny superheroes fighting off toxins in our bodies.
That's a great way to put it. While more research is needed to fully understand the mechanisms and long-term effects, it's certainly an exciting area of study. And it adds yet another layer to the impressive list of benefits associated with sweet potatoes, especially those vibrant purple varieties.
Well, Chelsea, I think it's safe to say that we've given our Detox Health viewers a lot to think about today, from diabetes management and heart health to potential cancer prevention and even heavy metal protection. Sweet potatoes have proven themselves to be far more than just a simple side dish, and beyond all the incredible health benefits, they're just plain delicious. Chelsea, thanks again for joining us on the deep dive and for shedding light on this often overlooked nutritional powerhouse.
It's been a pleasure, Brian. I always enjoy sharing my passion for nutrition and empowering people to make informed choices about their health.
And for all you Detox Health fans out there, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more insightful content like this. They've got an amazing library of videos covering a wide range of health and wellness topics. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of sweet potatoes. And remember, as always, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the fascinating world around you. Until next time.